I'm okay with myself. I know that everything's going to be okay, and whatever comes next, I'm not scared of it, because life just has all these incredible opportunities, and when you're prepared for it, just amazing things can happen.
No! We literally just
What the heck?
Dude!
What the heck is happening? That is wild.
That's actually insane. Like, that's not planned at all.
What? I didn't even know it was like close to
Zia
that
went
time.
to get water, and then we were breathing, and then this fell, and then I pushed record and picked up the phone to start.
And it's 11:11.
And we've been seeing these numbers all
the time.
whole trip.
Since you booked the trip, you would send me a screenshot, and the time was 11:11.
Oh my god!
And that's the end of the trip. And it's 11:11. That is so crazy.
What in the world?
Oh my gosh.
Just everything. Everything has been so guided. That's
Yes.
the perfect introduction. Hello and welcome back to the Your Extraordinary Life podcast and YouTube series. Today I have on the amazing Zia Suarez. She is such a light. And as you can tell from the beginning of our conversation here, we've been spending the past month traveling Bali together, experiencing surf camps and experiencing so much magic. And Zia really is such an extraordinary human being. A little bit of a backstory. I came across Zia's Instagram profile a few years ago. We connected, we were chatting, and then we met up last year in Barcelona when she was living there. We had a lot of epic adventures, went to an amusement park, danced all night. And then when Zia reached out to me to come to Bali this month for Kima surf camps, I was like, 100% yes. And I saw all these angel numbers everywhere. And now it's led up to this, just the best month with you. And so I'm so excited for everyone to learn more about your story. So I would love to start with, who is Zia? Tell everyone more about you.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's such an honor. I know you really select people that are really aligned with what you do and everything. So first of all, that's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, Mahna is just this incredible friend that I've met through Instagram, and it's just been so great spending this month with you.
Okay. I'm so grateful. I'm crying. Just so many giggles and so many laughs and just the best times. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So my name is Zia Suarez. I'm from South Africa, but I have Spanish heritage as well. So I've lived between South Africa and Spain the last few years. I'm a content creator. So I do photography, videography. I work on Instagram. I work online as a social media manager, so I'm really grateful for my job because I'm able to travel and work at the same time, and it's just been incredible.
I love that. You're literally living the dream, and some of the epic things that you've been able to do now is a Lightroom ambassador and Kima Surf Camp ambassador and work with the most amazing brands. Tell everybody a little bit about your story of how you got to where you were sort of following the path of studying your life, of what society thought you should do, from getting your architecture degree to how you made that change to start to want to pursue your passions. What did all of that backstory look like for you?
So when I finished high school, I didn't take a gap year or anything. I didn't even think about traveling for a year. I didn't do any of that. So I jumped straight into my degree, which was architecture, and I studied that for 6 years. And then towards my last 2 final years, that's when Instagram started really booming with bloggers, influencers. That's when influencers started actually getting paid for their work, and brands started seeing the value in them and the value that they can produce through Instagram as a platform. And I started getting a little bit more into that, but it was before brands started paying, so it was more of an exchange. So I was getting products in exchange for content, and that's sort of where it all began. It was kind of nothing that I wanted to do and not something that I was aiming to achieve or anything. It just sort of happened, and I feel it was the right place at the right time because it was just in the beginning of that boom. And I was still posting high quality photos on my Instagram, and then all my posts were just going viral, and then I was getting a lot of brands reaching out to me, and I was still trying to study architecture, and I was okay, well, this is a really incredible opportunity to travel and and work with these brands and just sort of see where it goes, because nobody knew where it was going to go. Like, especially like, I don't think anyone knew Instagram and social media would be where it is today, especially with influencers getting paid for the work that we do, which is really important. Like, I feel like the high quality content we produce is like basically what brands would pay a whole agency to do. So I've been doing that since then, and it's just yeah, like I said, it was just not something that it just happened. Like, it just happened, and then I had to choose between being an architect or being like this free nomad social media manager / influencer, and I was just like, let me just see where this goes. So I followed that path, and that was about like 5+ years ago, and like here I am, like working for like incredible companies and brands just that are really aligned with my lifestyle, and it's just incredible. Like, and I feel like it's just something that I've sort of always wanted, and I've just sort of like gone that way, and everything just worked out for me. Because I also believe that, you know, like a lot of people say that I'm lucky, like, oh, you're so lucky to have this life, like lucky you. But also I feel like luck, like I've read this somewhere once, it says luck is where preparation meets opportunity. And that's exactly where I was, at the right place at the right time. I was prepared. I was like, you know, like I was creating like my sort of like creative life through architecture. I was learning all the programs like Adobe, Lightroom, Photoshop. So I was like already prepared for that. And then when I had the opportunities, which was like the content creation part, like I just went for it, and I just like did my best, and this is where it's led to me now. Yeah.
Wow, that's absolutely beautiful. And it's so cool to see, because you really are that living embodiment of just like flow and grace and alignment of like, when, like you said so beautifully, all these things come together, and you're just living that now. And you're such a shining example for your community and for everyone who follows along. And so that's so amazing and inspiring. And I love that one story that you shared with me. If you could share with everyone of when you were younger and you had that poster in your room, and what happened from it now.
Yeah, so when I was younger, probably like from like 11 years old, I would get these magazines. I would walk to like this little local shop, and I would buy these magazines. They were called Saltwater Girl, and I was just obsessed with them because it was like all these surfer girls like doing these cool like surf trips, and like just these amazing pictures, like just beautiful pictures. And it was like Billabong, Roxy, and all these big surf brands. And I used to tear them out, and I would like put them on my wall, and like not thinking like that's what I want to be. It was more like just something that made me feel happy, and just like it just decorated my room. That's what I thought. But then eventually, somewhere along the line, I think I just like manifested that somehow, because like I've been working with these brands. I've been working with Billabong. I've been working with Roxy. I go on all these surf trips, and it's my job. It's not like something that like I save up and pay for. It's literally my work and my life. So yeah, it's just been incredible. Like, and also there's this movie that I told you to go watch, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, it's called The Secret, and it's just that. It's basically like creating this visual like recreation of what you want your life to be. And that's like subconsciously what I did as a kid. And it's like creating like this kind of like mood board, vision board, and just like manifesting this life, and that you can get it as soon as you can see something, as soon as you can visualize what you want, the universe somehow will guide you to it. And just as long as you believe and you try to be prepared for the opportunity, then you will be like, quote, lucky, you know?
Yeah.
And you can live the life that you want. So yeah, I think that must have been what happened for me, because it was like, I don't know how. Like, yeah.
So cool. Like when Zia first told me that, and even now I got chills. It's just like so beautiful that you believed it and you saw it and visualized it, and you're quite literally the living proof of it now for people who are maybe out home and you're doubting, like, are my dreams possible? Are the things that I hope to do possible? Like, you are living proof that it is possible. So that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And something that's so cool too is, so South Africa, I want to talk more about like what it's like to grow up there and be there. That's a place that's so high on my bucket list. I mean, the nature just looks so amazing, and the surfing, the coast, the animals. What was it like to grow up there, and what was your early life like there?
So I am so grateful for actually being born and raised in South Africa, because I think it's one of the main things is it's made me tough. Like, it's made me really tough. It's like, it's a very poor country. Maybe a lot of people don't know that, but like most of the population there lives in poverty. So, and we have like a lot of issues with like electricity, water restrictions. Like, it's quite hard, but it's just allowed me to be like super open-minded for when I travel, especially coming to countries like Asia and Bali, like all the things that I've seen, and like it's something that I'm kind of like prepared for as well, and that like I don't mind like if there's a power cut for like 2 days, then like it's something that I'm like used to. And also one of the main things is that the landscapes there are just so beautiful, and like it will always be home. Like my heart will always be in South Africa, and just the wildlife and nature. And that's another thing that I really appreciate of being born and raised there, is that I can never live in a city. Like for me, being like near the ocean, being in nature, being in the mountains, doing like really cool activities all the time, that's just part of my lifestyle. That's just part of who I am. And yeah, I tried living in the city. I tried living in Barcelona for 3 years, and I really tried, because I thought, okay, there's so many opportunities in a big city. Like the standard of living is supposed to be so much higher, so much better, but I just couldn't do it anymore. So now I'm just always trying to find like outdoor places, being in nature, finding like really cool landscapes, and yeah, just being as much as possible in like the most like rural areas. And
Yeah, super cool. And then that led you to, I know that you fell in love with Sri Lanka as well. You spent so much time in Sri Lanka. What were your experiences like there?
So I went to stay at the Kiva Surf Camp in Sri Lanka last year, December, and like the deal was that I would be there for 1 month, but I ended up staying there for 3 months. And I find like it's a place that I can really relate to. The people are so friendly. I feel really safe there. It's still very much wild, very much rural, and it's just like a place that I really would love to, like, I could see myself living there. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So cool. Super cool. So now I want to dive into, like, you have so many passions and so many things that you're amazing at. And a lot of people out there are wondering, like, how do I find my passions? How do I find what feels great for me when I'm in those moments of flow? Like, how did you find what your passions were?
I think just doing as many different things as possible, like trying out like anything, if it's I don't know, like surfing or golf or, just anything. Just go find something that you're passionate about if you don't know what it is already. But I mean, if there is something that that you're passionate about, like if it's creating art, like definitely go more into that. Try find opportunities in that. And if you want, you could try find like job opportunities and try and make that your lifestyle, make that your work, like sort of like what I've done with like the content creation and those things. So it's just try as many different things as possible and just see where that goes, because like I feel like life is all about like flow, and if something's aligned and something's meant for you, it will find its way, as long as you're putting in as much as you can. If you can do your best and everything and don't give up, I feel like you will be able to find your passion and follow that through and just create an incredible life for yourself.
So incredible. And that flow, I want to dive into that flow.
Yeah.
How has that felt like with surfing for you? Like how does that feeling of flow feel like when you're out on the water?
It's just like totally surrendering yourself and just feeling the ocean, being connected to the ocean, and just forgetting about everything else in the world that like troubles you or that bothers you. Because if you have that in your mind, like especially when you're trying to catch a wave, if you're not fully focused and you're like thinking about other things, if you're stressed, that's the one thing. Like if you're stressed, like you will not be able to have a good surf and like ride the wave. So it's better to just like be relaxed, be calm, be in yourself, focus on the absolute beautiful nature around you, and just go with it and just relax.
So inspiring.
And I feel like that's the same thing in life as well. Like we were talking about the other day, like you cannot like force things and try to control your life, because that's when things I think get a little bit like stagnant and you feel a bit stuck, you feel a bit lost, because you're just trying to hold on to these things. But if you just like relax, let go, just trust in that you've done enough, that you're prepared for that moment, then everything will come to you and everything will work out.
Yeah, so eloquently said. That's the biggest thing that Zia and I think this month and surfing and everything has taught me, is that I remember that first week, like when I came into the surf camp and doing the lessons, and I was like so in my head, like so many things, like fear of the water, fear of this. And I remember you said exactly that to me. You were like, the more you overthink it, the more you're stressed about it, like the harder it will be. And it was just like dropping that, and then it was the next day, like it just felt so good, and like feeling that flow. And so that's amazing.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Yeah, because you absolutely crushed it. You went from like beginner to like 2-star, which is like the second level up. actually the third, because it's a surf school, and then 1 star, then 2 star, and you're already 2 stars. So you just like have been crushing it.
Thank you. And that's so cool, that feeling of flow and that parallel to life of when things are aligned, they flow.
Yeah.
And so how has that evolution been for you from when you were like starting to post on Instagram and maybe dealing with like putting your life online or deciding how that looks like? Like how was it for you showing up on social media and sharing your passions?
Well, it was very much like sort of intuitive and not really like people ask me like, how did you become an influencer? Like, what made you decide to become an influencer? How can I become an influencer? But I didn't think like I'm the best person because I didn't have steps. Like, I didn't have a goal. Like, I want to be an influencer. I want to work online. I want to be like traveling, living this like nomadic lifestyle. It's just something that sort of found its way through like my life, going with this flow, and also not forcing anything, not expecting anything like huge from life, just going with whatever came, taking every opportunity, like even if it was something that I had to do for free or something that I had to do to prove my worth. I did that. I did everything I could, and I worked really hard to get there. And yeah, that's where I am now.
Yeah.
And I still don't know where it's gonna go. Like even now, like I'm at this point now where it's like I canceled my flight going back home. I literally have like no idea where I'll be next month. And I don't know how long I'll have this job for. I know at least with architecture, I know that I would have been an architect until I die. But like with this, it's like, what's next? It's constantly evolving. It's constantly, but also there's kind of like, how do you say, like I'm at peace with that, because it's like I want to evolve and I want to change and I want to try these different things, and like maybe I find another passion, maybe I find like all these other incredible experiences in life, which I know I will because of this kind of like lifestyle. But yeah, that's where I'm now.
Yes. And how did you find that peace with the uncertainty? Because that can be debilitating for some people.
Yeah, I get it. It's just like letting go of control of your life, and just also for me, like I feel like I'm better when things are uncertain, which is crazy. I think it's because I'm trying to break out of like society's like, you know, like you need to buy a house, you need to start a family, you need to get married, and like I'm already 30 years old, and like sometimes I'm like, shit, like I don't have anyone, I don't have a partner yet. Like when am I supposed to have kids? When am I supposed to get married? Like that should be coming soon. But then again, it's like, but I don't want that. That's society. That's not what I want. So again, it's just like breaking away from what society wants from you, and just kind of just like letting go and just embracing the uncertainty, because I also think that's such a blessing to be able to just like not know what's next, and just when it comes, it's just like, if it's great, then it's like so much greater than what you can ever expect. Yeah.
Yes, and that's like being here in Bali. It's felt like Neverland, because it's like people are breaking free of society's expectations and living like what feels aligned for them. And like I remember there were so many moments on this trip, but like one of them was like on Komodo on that boat, like when we were all just like present there. And it was funny too, because going into it, Zia had a past Komodo experience. You want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, like it was just super low budget, and I won't go into the details, but anyway, even the trip that we did now was like low budget, but I was like constantly saying like, oh, like we didn't see this, we didn't see it, was so crowded, like it was so unsanitary.
Like expectations below the ground.
But that was great, because like everyone on the board was like expecting like this really, really bad experience. But every time there was like a little thing that like happened, it was just like, oh wow, like I'll be like, oh, this, I didn't see this last time, this is like so cool. And then everyone would be like, oh yeah, this is like super nice. And a lot of the places like we were completely alone. And that was incredible, because I'll be like, oh, last time we were so crowded. And so I think that was cool. Like just lowering your expectations is like another life lesson. Just like don't expect too much, because yeah, like when you do that, then everything is just so wonderful. Like it just, life is just so incredible when you lower your expectations.
Seriously though, that's like such a great metaphor for it, because then like our expectations, like Zia just felt like not only like at the floor, but like below the floor. Like glowing. Oh, but then we went on the trip and we saw like 4 Komodo dragons, and we saw every form of marine life, and we saw shooting stars, and just like those present moments,
banana pancakes.
from banana itself, like
Banana man.
like just so many lessons in that of surrendering control and seeing where things lead. And even yesterday, like in that giant waterfall at sunset at Nung Nung, and just like fully surrendering and seeing where the magic of life takes you. So
Because again, we were like, it was such a hike down, and then I was like, oh, the hike up is going to be so hard. It's going to be crowded. And we literally, when we got there was like 2 people that left.
Yeah.
And we had the entire waterfall to ourselves. Like, when does that ever? I mean, like, we're in peak season now in Bali. Like, there should be like crowds and crowds and crowds. They're like lining up, and we just had the entire waterfall to ourselves. That, I think that was like the highlight of the trip, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. That was one of my new favorite like life moments and experiences. Like just that freedom and surrender, and like just the nature all around us is just exhilarating. And I feel like that's happened, and like we found each other. We found like Polly and Fabian and like everyone in the group from when you're living that alignment, when you're living that flow. And so major commendment to you for doing that and being that. And so now I want to know, you said like earlier you're at this like pivot point, this transition point in your life from when you were sort of taking these steps, and now like you've canceled your flight and you don't know where things will lead.
Yeah.
How does that lead in for you of what your most extraordinary life looks like? Because the sort of mission and everything of this podcast is that your extraordinary life can look different for everyone. Like for one person, it's talking to a new person, and for another person, it's maybe signing up for a new class or traveling the world. It's different for everyone. Yeah. And what does it look like for you? Like, what does that feel like for you?
Yeah, so like for the first time in my life, I've actually really taken like control of my own life, because before I was also in a long-term relationship, and I had university, so I had all these like really strong commitments. And now that I'm like, first of all, like financially free, and it's taking me many, many years to get where I'm with that now. Second of all, I have like, my work is freedom. Like I can be anywhere in the world. So I've reached that point now where I'm like, okay, I have everything that I need. I've done this myself. I can, the future for me is whatever I want it to be. So I thought, okay, I have a flight going back home. Like I was thinking of extending it and like changing the destination. And then I was like, but I just don't know what's next. Like I'm at a point now where I really don't know where I'll be next week, where I really don't know where I'll be next month. Like, and it's just like this incredible, like open canvas. And that's exactly what it is. Like it's for the first time, I just have this blank open canvas, but I have built up so much for myself to be like this independent person. And yeah, it's just like, whatever comes next is just whatever I make it. And just sort of like, I know if I just keep working hard, if I keep positive, it's just going to be incredible. Whatever it is, it's just going to be incredible. But yeah, I'm glad that we're recording this podcast as well, because I can like maybe look back at this and be like, oh my gosh, I remember when I said that, and now look where I am. I'm just so positive for the future, because yeah, like life is just absolutely amazing. And when you have all these life experiences and you get to a point where you're like, okay, like I'm okay with myself. I know that everything's going to be okay, and whatever comes next, I'm not scared of it, because life just has all these incredible opportunities, and when you're prepared for it, just amazing things can happen.
I'm literally going to cry. So beautiful, and it's so true. Like it's just, when like this whole month has just been like feeling so free and so open and present. Like the amount of time that Zia and I just spent just like giggling and like just laughing and sharing brainwaves and like realizing, like you said, this blank canvas, and realizing that like so often before we were in a rush to get to this point, and society wants us to like live for the milestones, but we've been living for those moments, like these moments of life, and then these are the moments, like these are the moments of life, which is like so cool. And I feel like you're at such a big transition point in your life right now, but it's like you said, the most magical and inspiring and open feeling, because anything could come, and I know that the most magical things are in line for you, because you're just like a magical being. So yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Maybe some inspiration or words of wisdom of someone who's watching this and who aspires to be living the life you are now, but is maybe feeling stuck or scared, or some advice you might have for your past self?
Yeah, I would just say like, don't give up. If you have a dream, like don't give up. And what I often do is like, I think about when I'm old, what would I regret to do when I'm younger, when I was younger. So like that's a like powerful tool that I use to just go like take any opportunity, like literally anything that comes your way. If you don't feel ready for it, just do it. Like, because you don't know where that will lead, and it could lead to like extraordinary things. And just get out there, get out of your comfort zone, because that is really scary. I know a lot of people are scared of that, but if you do that, like, I think you'll get kind of addicted. And then it's just an incredible feeling of just being out there in the world, gaining lots of experience through these opportunities. So just stay on the lookout for opportunities and don't give up, and stay positive.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Zia. Thank you all so much for tuning in for this episode of the Your Extraordinary Life podcast. And where can everybody find you and follow along on your adventures?
So mostly Instagram, Zia_Suarez, and yeah, I don't have a YouTube or anything yet. Maybe that's what's next.
Yes,
but yeah,
fine.
yeah, you can follow me there on Instagram, and that's where I share all my adventures and just positivity, and also like the work that I do, which is for Kima Surf and like other brands that help support my journey. So yeah.
Heck yes, yeah, and she just hit 150K. Yes, kudos on that. That's an amazing milestone, amazing impact and inspiration, and thank you so much.
Bye.